Could Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins screw Roman Reigns at Survivor Series? Well, that is the conspiracy theory going around the internet wrestling community in the past 24 hours or so, and honestly, it's not quite as far-fetched as I first thought. Welcome to Allison Analysis. I'm Ben Allison, and I've analysed last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, and here are my 5 key findings. In at number 5, WWE need to merge the Tag Team Championships once again. I'll admit it, I was wrong. I stand corrected. I dropped the ball. I'll eat my words. I was way off. If the answer was yes, I take no. But WWE absolutely should not have split up these tag team belts. Now, the example I used at the time to justify why they should split them up was the 2016 brand split, and how when they split up the tag team titles then, it worked so well for a couple of years. Both the Raw and SmackDown tag team divisions were thriving. However, what I didn't take into account was since then they've of course introduced the women's tag team division, and that is doing awesome right now. Quite frankly, it's probably the best booked tag team division in North America over the last 3 months. But because of that and the fact that there isn't any additional TV time, in fact there's technically temporarily less TV time, there just isn't enough time for more tag belts. The next challengers for JD and Finn Balor, when I say next challengers, they're really the only challengers, are the War Raiders. However, no matter who wins that match, I mean, there's nobody to face the winner, is there? Both teams have beat the rest of the division. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think the War Raiders should win, and then perhaps at the Rumble we do the Raiders versus Motor City Machine Guns and unify the tag belts once again. I mean, it was a nice experiment. You know, they tried, but it's just a failure, isn't it? And I was one of the people who asked to see this, and again, I was wrong. In at number 4, Bray Wyatt is looking down on Bo Dallas proud. I just want to take a minute to really appreciate Bo Dallas's performance in starting the Wyatt 6, because genuinely, you can just tell how much Bray Wyatt tape he is watching. The guy is putting in so much work to this, and it's been absolutely incredible. I mean, the promo segment last night, I had to double look, because he looked exactly like Bray. And honestly, I've been loving the Wyatt 6 so far. I think they've done a really good job with them. And every week, no matter if I've not got that much excitement going into the segment, coming out of it, I always think, wow, that was awesome. I am a lot more interested than I was the week before. And honestly, I'm a lot more interested in this Wyatt 6 Final Testament storyline than I imagined I would be. I said a few weeks ago I thought this feud would be a make or break feud for the Final Testament, but I think it could well be a make one. I mean, pairing Karrion Kross and Miz together is just genius in hindsight. It was the fresh coat of paint that Miz desperately needed, and it just gave Karrion Kross a little bit of what he was missing, a little bit of comedy to his character, shall I say. And by that, I don't mean, he's suddenly now, a comedy act. But, he just jokes around a little bit, as well as being that, fierce, tough guy, and I think it works well. I mean, it's probably the most I've been interested in either guy for years. In at number 3, why didn't Ludwig Kaiser just help Bron Breakker retain instead of causing a DQ? Now, the match between Bron Breakker and Sheamus last night was unironically an absolute banger. The two had instant chemistry, they were just putting on a great match, it was shaping up to steal the show, and then Ludwig Kaiser got involved and caused a DQ. And listen, I get it. Ludwig Kaiser is feuding with Sheamus. They've been feuding for months. That makes sense. But what I don't get is why you didn't just have Ludwig Kaiser just cost Sheamus the match rather than having it end by DQ. And again, I do get the fact that Ludwig's a heel. By him doing this DQ, now we hate him more. I get it, that it was effective in doing that. But I'm just not entirely sure how necessary it was. I think you could have got the same levels of heat by just costing him the match at the end, rather than causing the DQ. I mean, the only reason I could think that maybe they didn't do this is if they're planning on turning Bron Breakker face. But this guy's had more face and heel turn since being called up than I think anybody has in a long, long time. So I'm not sure how I'd feel about that one. Or they just want to continue making him look tough, but at the same time, the Bloodline helped him win the IC belt against Jey Uso, so I don't know about that. This just felt like a massively unnecessary DQ to me. But before we go any further, if you could like and subscribe, that would be massively appreciated. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create between 5 to 10 free videos every single week, and you guys leaving a like and comment on them really, really helps us out. And in addition to that, every single day, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. We have a live daily stream where you guys can comment and we show the comments as we go through. In at number 2, Rhea Ripley is back and sooner than any of us expected. When Rhea Ripley got hurt, for some reason, and the reason I genuinely don't know, everybody, including myself, kind of just presumed she'd be out until the Rumble at the earliest. But after just 3 weeks, she is back. And while I still do think this Women's War Games match makes as much sense as removing the headphone jack on the iPhone, now at least we do have one feud within it, which feels, intense enough for a War Games match, and that of course is Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Now, the only negative of this return was the fact that it happened on a pre-taped show. So pretty much everybody knew about this going into last night's show, because there's been spoilers everywhere all over the internet this past week. But just in case you managed to avoid them, while WWE's own shop account decided to tweet out before the show a new Rhea Ripley shirt that she's back. I mean, that's a hell of a miss. I mean, this should have been a huge surprise, and it just wasn't, was it? But regardless, I'm so happy that Rhea Ripley is back, and she's back a lot earlier than expected, and I'm a lot more excited for this War Games match now. In at number 1, will Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins turn on Roman Reigns inside of War Games? Now, in case you guys haven't seen the conspiracy theories online, basically the gist of it is this would explain why Sami Zayn suddenly flipped and why Seth Rollins is going to suddenly flip as well. And this theory, I think, started about a week ago, right? And then to heighten it, this past week on SmackDown, Sami Zayn had a phone in his pocket. He took it out, and as soon as Roman Reigns turned his head, he chucked it on the sofa. The same sofa that Roman Reigns later picked up his phone off to call Paul Heyman. So the theory is perhaps Sami Zayn blocked Paul Heyman's number on Roman's phone. And this would also explain why Kevin Owens hasn't confronted Sami Zayn for suddenly teaming with Roman. Because if Kevin has such a big issue with Cody and then Randy Orton sticking up for him, then he must be fuming that his best friend in the world, Sami Zayn, is now doing it. But also, and for me this is a big part of it, Seth Rollins said that he promises the next time he's in the same ring as Roman Reigns, he is going to stomp his head in. And it was only last week's Raw when he said that. So I think it could well happen. Perhaps Rollins uses Reigns to be able to take out Bronson Reed, and then as soon as that happens, he turns, Sami Zayn joins him, and then hopefully the Usos don't join in as well, otherwise that is a bit much. But I don't think this will happen. Maybe Seth, but I don't think Sami. But honestly, this theory isn't quite as far-fetched as I first thought. But do you guys think it will happen? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this week's Allison Analysis for Raw. Overall, I thought this was an enjoyable show. I really, really did. I enjoyed it. My biggest issue was that firstly, we didn't really see much women's wrestling. But secondly, when it was pre-taped and we kind of knew everything that was going to happen. I tried so hard to avoid these spoilers. I really did. I turned off notifications for Twitter accounts I'm following. I did all of that. And even still, I found out by about last Wednesday what was happening. But what did you guys think of the show? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.